Hello everyone, Seraphin here. Welcome back for more Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. When we last left off, we finished Chapter 13, and so we're going to head off into a side quest. This is Chapter 13X, The Peddler Merlinus. Merlinus being that strange merchant fellow we ran into in the village in the north on the last mission. And we find out that the Marquis of Santaru's Lord Hillman has died, murdered, presumably, by the Black Fang. And now we find out that Marquis Laus may have been behind it as well, so that's where we're heading next. But on our way there, we're going to stop by this little village in Kalen. And we're going to chill for a night, because that's what you do in the way places, is just chill out. Probably a lot of camping involved in a big long trip like this. I wonder how long it actually takes for them to travel from one of these territories to the other. That's okay, we're just passing through. Ah yes, we remember her. Didn't you have some direct involvement in that? So is she hot? Typical middle-aged bro talk, exactly the same as it is now. Uh-huh. Okay. The sad thing is Ellawood reminds me quite a bit of myself. Don't make me angry. A girly scream? No, I'm just kidding. It's a normal scream, probably. Nope, it's that guy. And there's that goofy-looking bandit guy again. I thought we've killed him a couple of times. Puzon. Interesting name, that guy. The irony of him calling anybody a simpleton. Yes, this is how disputes are resolved. Pretty sure that was every single vowel in that word there. This is Merlinus. He is a humble merchant. He can't fight, but we have to defend him. So, if you recall from back in Chapter 4 of Lynn's quest, we had that defense mission where we had to protect Natalie. Now we have the same situation. We have to protect Merlinus. He can't fight, and he's very pathetic. So, and you'll also notice that this particular map has Fog of War, so we can't see into the darkness very easily. And you'll see our goal is to save Merlinus. We have 7 turns we need to defend him. And there are enemies in every corner of this map, and they spawn out of these forts, both on the top left and bottom right here. So we have a few choke points. There's a couple of bridges right here, and one down here. And then also there's this snag on the left side that we need to defend if someone were to knock that down. I'd also like to try to get to this village because there is good stuff to be had up there. So, let's get started, shall we? Gotta kind of get my bearings here and figure out where we're at. So, I think what I might actually end up doing is training up Dorcas a little bit because I need a good axe user early on. I don't get any other good ones for quite a while. And while he's not fantastic growth-wise, he is very strong, and he has a lot of constitution. His speed won't get much better, but I think I'm going to give him a try and see how he turns out. But in the meantime, we're going to have Sir Hector here. Very level 6. So who needs training the most? Let's find out, shall we? That would be Oh, I suppose Guy does need some training, although I'm not planning on using him, so everybody's doing pretty well. Let's see if Rebecca can do some damage to this guy. Absolutely. A lot of the more seasoned players of this franchise tend to not like archers very much because they're not all that great stat-wise normally. And honestly, they're locked to bows and they can't counterattack at melee, but as long as you keep them behind your main people, it's not that big of a deal. So you'll see here I have an option to support with Ellawood now because Ellawood and Hector have spent time next to each other on the map for long enough. It doesn't take much for them because they're best bros. I'm not going to do it, sadly, right now, but if I were to support them, they'd have an interesting little conversation that only they get, that's unique to them. And that's one of those support levels that I was talking about. You know what? I lied. I think I will have them talk just for the kicks and giggles here. So if I support... No, if I support, that's Hector's turn, so I don't want to do that. I'll have Ellawood do it. We're just going to crush this guy with an axe because reasons. And Hector is fast enough to double people now, which is fantastic. Normally he struggles with that a little bit early on. We're going to leave Oswin here, definitely. He is a living tank, so we want him there. I'm going to send Guy up this way, I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'll send Matthew that way instead. Matthew's a little... He's not... Well, he's doing pretty good, actually, combat-wise. That's not bad. 6 strength for a thief. The problem is, I'm not planning on using a whole heck of a lot of these characters in the long term, and I don't want to train up too many of them if I can help it. In fact, I don't have any weapons on Barter right now. So I'm just going to stab this guy with a sword. Actually, Ellawood's sword is getting close to breaking. He might need a new one. I probably should have picked some up from the armory last chapter. Okay, that's not a great level for him, but I'll take the strength. Ellawood tends to have problems with strength early on. Oh, Lowen has a sword. I can just trade him that one. Marcus can go hide in the corner here. Here, have my sword, and then get out of the way. Oswin is just gonna chill out. I don't want Sarah getting hit, definitely. The guy just has his killing edge still, but I definitely want to preserve as much as possible. Let's see what the terrain looks like over here. Lots of banditos over there. Just a steel axe? I swear I had more axes than that. Who took all my axes? Oh, Lowen has a hand axe. That would be useful. I should give that to Dorcas as soon as I get a chance. Alright. Now, I know the goal of this mission is to defend, but I'm going to kind of branch out and try to get as many kills as I can, because this is valuable experience in this level. And there's a... Oh, geez, already breaking that snag down. That's not good. Unfortunately, Ellawood is not strong enough to one-round this guy, nor is he fast enough to hit him twice. And these bandits are rather strong, so they'll knock this tree down very quickly. And they're going to knock a lot of trees down, as a matter of fact. And there's not just bandits in that fog. You'll see in just a minute. There's mercenaries, and there's also a unit... Well, you've seen nomads before. That's the class that Wrath was from Lynn's Quest. And he is not to be trifled with. Steel sword, even. You know, somebody could make use of that, I bet. I think I'll have Oswin hold up right here. He can handle those guys. He's very tanky. 14 defense is nothing to sneeze at. So we're gonna have Lowen take that deliver that hand axe over to Dorcas, I think. And then Dorcas is just going to camp down right here and crush these fools. Looks like Matthew can actually cross the bridge here. I wonder if Rebecca's fast to double that guy. She is not. So, we will have Ellawood do it. Unless Hector can hand axe him. He cannot. Not if he wants an expectation of killing him. Ellawood can rapier this guy to death. Which is handy. Mercenaries are a really big pain early on because they're so fast. And Hector's tanky. He's got 10 defense. That's good enough. I'm going to send him out here to deal with these guys. Now, he might get chewed on a little too much out there by himself, but if he does, I'll just pull him back. I can probably finish this guy off with Rebecca, yep. And she might take a retaliatory hit from that other bandit, but she'll be okay. In fact, I'm going to have Steel Lance. Why don't we give that to Oswin? I don't think I actually gave... Nope, I gotta put it in the first slot. There we go. Guy, you can have that mine. I lied. Barter, you can have the mine, since you're collecting all my other useless stuff. Not useless stuff, just stuff that isn't guns. Alright, we'll see how this goes. And down go more of those trees. So, I like these defense missions quite a bit. I think it forces you to think a little more tactically than you otherwise might feel like you have to for a game like this. Because normally you can take your time and advance at your own pace, make sure all your units are well defended, and spread around the experience. But in this kind of a case, they come at you and you're kind of pigeonholed into a tight corner and don't have a lot of room to maneuver. And I think that forces you to think outside of the box as far as using choke points effectively, making the right, using the right units in the right positions to guard strategic points and all that fun stuff. I just find it very appealing, and my guys are getting shredded right now, and that's not okay. So here we have an enemy nomad. Unfortunately, Dorcas is kind of getting chewed up a little bit. I'm going to switch him to the hand axe here. And the reason being, it doesn't weigh as much, so he won't suffer any speed loss, and he can retaliate against that nomad when he gets close. As for which one of them I'm going to try to hit, I think we'll go for this one. There we go. He had a slightly higher chance to hit me, so I wanted to make sure he took down first. Okay, so this is why I don't bother training him half the time, because he just gets garbage level ups like that. We are going to get Rebecca the heck out of dodge and heal her up. And I wonder if Hector can take this guy down in one hit. He cannot, but Ella would be able to finish him off once he does. Man, with this. So, something else I feel like I didn't touch on is, you'll see that there is the, one sec. Okay, cool, that's right, skill's good. You got the hit, the damage, and the crit chance little windows that show up when you're in a battle animation like that. And obviously the damage is how much damage they inflict if they hit. The critical is just a flat critical hit percentage. The hit, however, is not as straightforward as you might think. And what I mean by that is it's not an accurate percentage. For example, it says Oswin has a 75% chance to hit there. He actually has closer to like an 83% chance. And the reason for that is because there is a system that this game uses to determine hit rates called True Hit. And all of the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem games use it. All the newer ones use it, I believe. And what they do is, instead of just using a single percentile number for calculating your hit percentage, they actually use two random numbers and then average them together to get your actual hit rate. And I believe it's the same for growth rates as well. So it starts out very low at very low percentages, evens out at about 50, and then dramatically curves upward from there. So if you've got a 90% chance to hit in this game, it's actually something like 98.5%. So you're very unlikely to miss at anything higher than 80 thereabouts, and you're very unlikely to hit at anything lower than about 30%. And I know that seems weird. Why would they, have it a flat number if that's the case, when it's not a true percentage? But I honestly don't really know that I could tell you why they do that. From what I understand, though, a lot of the older games where they did not do that and they just used a straight hit number, it was a lot more frustrating because you're trying to hit people and it's like, oh, 50-50 shot, and you'd miss half the time, and it's obviously. And it just got very upsetting, I guess, to a lot of players, so they decided to change it and make it a little more in your favor, as long as you're above 50, obviously. The problem is the same holds true for the enemy units. They have an increased chance to hit as well. So I guess you can kind of take it or leave it. It just helps cut through some of the monotony, like when you're constantly missing at 70 and 80%, it's like, oh, come on, really? 45%, that wasn't going to happen, there's no way. Dorcas is kind of getting chewed apart, and now Sarah is too. Fantastic. I'm not playing this very intelligently, unfortunately, right now. And I'm going to do something I shouldn't do, which is use Marcus to knock this tree down. Because I need to get Elwood to that village before the brigand gets there. Otherwise, he will knock it down, and we don't need that. Now, I know I said not to use Marcus if you can help it, but if you're in a tight spot and you really need something taken out right away, do not hesitate to use him. That's what he's there for. Is like your trump card, basically, just in case you're in a really tight spot and you don't think you'll be able to get out of it. Just use Marcus, it's fine. He's not going to deter you that much, honestly. So it's perfectly okay to deploy him if you really need to. I don't want to do this, but yeah, he'll be okay. There we go. He can take one more hit from that nomad before it starts being a problem. But I am going to send Marcus down there to help. No, I really need to get that tree knocked over. I might need to use Guy here. What are the odds of him hitting him? Not great, unfortunately. Might be worth a shot, just in case. More nomads are going to be coming my way from the north, I believe. So if I put Hector here, I can kind of make a little bit of a wall before they get to my healer and whatnot. And Hector won't take any damage from this guy even if he does hit, so... That's the thing with Myrmidons. They're very nimble and very quick and very good for taking out people in a pinch, but they don't do a lot of damage. So we need to get Elwood over here right away. I think I'm actually going to have Matthew come back over here and help out a little bit. And we'll have Guy come down as well. Lowen's just there as a buffer anyway. So, who needs to be healed? Hector could use it, but there's a nasty Myrmidon there, so... Nope. Put Sarah right here so she can get to Dorcas next turn. I know this seems really crowded, and, like, how am I managing all this right now? I'm not doing the most strategic maneuvers that I could be doing, but... I could be using some other more... Could be using other units that that I otherwise wouldn't be using anyway, but... Like, I could be using Lowen to tank things, I could be using Barter, I could be using Guy, honestly, but... I don't like using units if I can help it that I don't plan on actually training, because then it's just wasted XP for my other guys. And I suppose after a certain point it kind of evens out where it's like the guys that I would be feeding experience to is they've got enough and aren't leveling as quickly, so I can afford to lose some with some other guys, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he can get into that forest, which is good because I need him to. And he can take out this guy in a couple of rounds. Although, if I'm not mistaken, those brigands will probably go for Marcus because he's equipped with a lance right now and they have the advantage on him. Although he will utterly decimate them if he does. Let's see if I can't one-round this Myrmidon. I cannot, not quite. Although I bet you Matthew can soften him up a little bit. Nomads are nasty business. They are mounted, but they don't suffer the normal penalties for moving through forests because they're so used to being... They're just so used to being around in the wilderness, so to speak. So they're much more accustomed to riding around through trees and over the plains and whatnot. So they don't have as much difficulty moving through trees as other mounted units do, which makes them a little bit annoying. I think I'm just going to have Hector pop a vulnerary up here, because he's about to run into trouble, I have a feeling. No, Oswin's doing just fine. Oh look, there's a friend right here. I'm just going to park him on these trees for now and have him heal up. Because Sarah's all the way down here, and there's no way I'm getting her down there fast enough. So we've got Ellawood to take care of these chumps. Dorcas and Matthew down here. And Hector and Oswin are going up here to take care of... The boss is also hiding up there in the northwest area by those forts. I would very much like to take him down because lots of experience from taking down bosses. And that would be very, very useful. More Myrmidons. Those are my favorite. Yep, I had a feeling they'd be going for Marcus, and he's going to make very short work of them, unfortunately. There you get to see a Paladin in action. Well, I guess you did see that with General Eagler back in Lynn's Quest, but Paladins are probably my favorite units. They own the battlefield. They have incredible movement speed. They have very well-balanced stats. They can use all three weapons of the triangle. Swords, lances, and axes, so they are a force to be reckoned with. Especially if you take the time to train them up properly. Marcus looks very good on paper, given that he's a level 1 paladin and he's got pretty solid stats, but his growths are atrocious. Except for skill, I suppose. But using him in the long run is not advisable, because if you train up somebody like Kent or Sane, or even Lowen, honestly, they'll turn out much, much better than him. So we'll have Ellawood finish off this bandit. That being said, Marcus is still a paladin and is still a very viable unit, so the only reason not to use him early on is because he'll soak experience. Oh, come on, Ellawood. He'll soak experience from all your younger guys. Not your younger guys, but, well, yeah, I suppose younger, because he's a pretty seasoned veteran knight. But he'll soak up experience from all your lower level guys, and they won't develop as quickly, and that's a problem. So we get 5,000 gold from going to that village, which is much needed, because you don't get a whole heck of a lot of money starting out in Ellawood's quest. It's going to change later on. Oh my gosh, thank heaven her magic is decent. We're going to park Dorcas over here in case any more bandits show up. Matthew can see through the fog really nice, which is good, but he's not really making a whole lot of use of it at the moment. Let's see if I can pick off somebody here. Yeah, I'll pick off this brigand, why not? I need to try to flush that boss out of where he's hiding. Wow, look at that! Strength and skill for Rebecca, that's pretty good. She's doing alright, level 7 and 7 strength, I'm very impressed. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it is. It's a big deal for her. And we can use the wolf bale on this nomad because he's a horse. You'll see that the wolf bale is glowing because it's effective against horses. So I can potentially one-hit this guy. There we go. Cavalry cower in fear from Hector with that wolf bale. It is utterly amazing. Absolutely cuts horses and even armored guys to shreds. And I can one around this Myrmidon because Oswin is a beast. Hector and Oswin make a very great team, especially early on because Oswin is so beefy. He's very over-leveled given the starting level you get him at, but he's too valuable not to use, unfortunately. He also is far better than Wallace, regrettably. Oh, there's the boss right there. Senor Puzan, I believe, was his name. And unfortunately, I don't think Hector's going to hit him. Oh, look at that, he did. Not bad, Hector, not bad. And I believe, given that we have the victory music, that he is the last enemy unit on the board. So if I take him down, it's the last turn to defend anyway. Killing him does not actually prematurely end the chapter, like some other boss kills do. I would love to land the kill on him because Hector needs the level up right now. Oswin certainly does not. Although if Hector misses, I might have to have him do it because Hector might die otherwise. Oh, there we go. He nailed it. Alright. Hector's already cooking really pretty high up there with his levels already. Okay, strength, skill, luck, and defense, and HP. Not bad at all. I'd like more speed, but that's entirely okay. And we'll just send Osmond here to clean up if there's anybody left. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like there's anybody over here either. Don't really have to do this, but I am anyway. Yep, I think we're golden. That's everybody. So we have successfully defended Merle Ennis. And there is that doofy-looking barbarian again. Yeah, not entirely sold on the smartness thing. Yes, you and your strange mustache have been saved. Oh dear. Now here's the irony, is that he gets called out for calling him a peddler, but it's like, that's the name of the chapter. That's kind of what he is. And here we get the doofy Merle Ennis theme, unfortunately. Yes, he is a merchant. No, of course not. I wasn't listening to him. Well, depends on who you ask, I guess, but Ostia is considered the strongest and therefore the capital of the Lycian territory. Well, he was going to walk around selling stuff, but with no kind of protection to be seen. Doesn't seem anyway. And now that we have Merle Ennis, actually, this is going to make things much simpler as far as progressing the rest of the game is. And I will explain that momentarily. Huh. Yes, now please carry all of my stuff. So there you have it. We defended a helpless merchant, and now he's traveling with us and is going to carry all of our stuff. I'm not going to get to show you right now, but I will show you in the next chapter what that means for my party and for the rest of the quest. So that's going to be it for now for Chapter 13X. I appreciate you all sticking with me and joining me for more of this. Stay tuned next time. We come back in Chapter 14, and I should show you all the awesome new stuff we have with our merchant friend, and a couple other neat little things. So again, thank you much for joining me. I'll see you next time. This has been Seraphin. Good night.